Hey guys, welcome back to the branding experience. We are in our last week, so regardless whether this is a quad semester or a regular semester, we are in week 14 or week 7. We are done. This is our last and final video. So let's get right into it. We're getting close to the finish line right ahead, so let's talk about what we're going to be doing today. So the plan of attack for today, we are going to look at branding and how it varies between marketing versus personal and how to make that connection. We'll look at self-efficacy, what that means and how that's a good thing to kind of put in the back of your brain. We'll go over some basic do's and don'ts. Some of them probably are pretty obvious, but something that might, it's always a good refresher. Sometimes you forget. I have a small video assignment, the last one, that I just want to get some feedback from you guys, how the class went. So if you could do that, that'd be fantastic. And last but not least, your final major assignment number 2 is due. So make sure you get it submitted in time. Look at the due dates and times, and then we rock and rolling. So without further ado, let's get into this and let's talk about branding and how it relates to marketing versus personal. And maybe you can now see the connection and why this whole course has been rolled out the way it has. So when we're looking at it from a marketing standpoint, right, we have a name, a logo, or a symbol, but it's the brand is a company's greatest asset, okay, from a marketing standpoint. So whether it be Nike, Tesla, IBM, big brand names, big logos, exact same thing applies to you. The brand, who is your name, right? Your name is the brand, but your skills is the product. So your brand is your name and all the skills and values that come from distinguish you from others. And that's the key. You need to think what makes you different from other people, okay? So your brand is your greatest asset. And hence you see the connection right there. Okay, and that's why it's so important to be aware of your brand and look at what are you doing on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. Do you have a plan for your brand? Because just like a company, if you fail to execute your brand, you're going to struggle with either getting a job in life or achieving your goals where you want to be. So it's something that you really need, and hopefully this really connects the dots for you, because I think it's a really key thing, because a lot of people can make the connection in marketing but don't sometimes see the connection from a personal standpoint and why it's so important. Okay, so self-efficacy, thoughts, these are some things I want you to think about. When you hear about people that are that's not supposed to be considered. That's supposed to be conceited. So are you conceited? That's not considered. Conceited or self-confident. There is a fine difference between the two. So be careful that you know the difference. Self-efficacy is your belief in your ability to perform a task, right? So how confident you are. Do you believe you can abort a task? I personally believe you can achieve any task. Some will take longer than others, so yes, that will absolutely make a difference. But regardless, there are so many resources available to you online and people that can gladly reach out. You can actually reach out to around the world now. So your resources are unlimited, really. I mean, you go on any social media platform, it's there. You go on the internet, there's all kinds of resources. All you got to do is simple type it in the privacy of your own home, and then you can get the help that you need. So you can achieve any task that you want, even if it's something new that's completely out of the realm. Because like I said before, and I have said in the videos, if you're passionate about something, you will be successful. Just don't stick to the timeline so much. Yes, you need to set goals, but be realistic on those goals. Okay? And remember, important, your personal brand reflects the traits that we want others to think of you when they think of you. So what traits, when they think of you, what comes to mind? What are those words? And one or two, keep it simple. And are you connecting goals to achieve those? Okay. So little things to think about. I think this is the other one. Unfortunately, I spelled it wrong. Conceited. Are you conceited or self-confident? That's important. I think that sometimes comes off as people think they're conceited. And if you're confident, be humble about it. Okay, that's a good way to put it. All right, let's look at some simple do's and don'ts. These are always some of my favorite. Let me pick a different color here so you can see it probably better. Okay, so let's do some of the don'ts. Whoops, hold on a second. Let's look at some of the don'ts. Get them out of the way. Okay, don't assume that everyone thinks and behaves like you. Right? There is multiple ways and beliefs, so keep an open mind. Don't become obsessed with how others view. You will get negative feedback. You will find people that don't like you. That's okay, but don't focus on it. Focus on the positive. Focus on where you want to go. Okay? Don't keep telling everyone about past negative experience. Negative fuels itself. Try and avoid negative experiences, things that why you can't. Okay? Think about what things you can. There's always a positive to every negative. Has to be. Don't set goals that are too difficult to reach. So again, that's where it is. Be realistic. Okay, make smaller goals. It's easier if it's a big goal. It's going to feel too overwhelming. Just like if you're building a house, right? You want to start small steps. Think, oh my God, what do I have to build? Well, if you know first step, we need to buy a piece of property. So you can do that. Check, and then work your way through. Right? Don't give up on your goals. Okay, if you want to re-edit them, change them a little bit, make them more achievable. Because sometimes you find, you know what, maybe I bit off a little too much I can chew. Break it down, the goals, into smaller goals. That's a great way. This is a key one. Don't wait to create goals. This is the first thing you should be doing, is creating goals. And keep in mind, these are constantly changing. Okay? I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. Okay? Also, with your goals, okay, make sure they're realistic. Don't create unrealistic goals. Okay? You can have a long-term goal that might be way out there. That's okay, but start with small goals from a daily, weekly routine. That's the best place to start. And don't give up. I mean, you're going to have challenges. Remember, think about throwing the darts. If you throw one dart and you don't hit the bullseye, you're going to give up? No. Did it hurt anything? No. Did you learn something from it? Yep. And that's the goal, is you're going to learn things. And everyone's going to learn at different rates. Right? Some people need to throw a dart 100 times. Some people need to throw it 1,000 times. There is no set formula. So don't give that formula on you to give you the added pressure, okay? So don't give up. Just keep throwing those darts. It will happen. That is for sure. All right. Some of the do's. Do realize the impact of your personality on the overall workplace performance. How you perform from a behavioral standpoint, not just a physical standpoint, but your personality plays a huge role in your workplace performance. I've had people that work for me that can do the job, but just weren't a good fit. All you gotta do is watch any sports, and you find people that can all do the sport, but get kicked out because of their personality. Right? They're not a fit. Understand that that makes an important difference. So if you truly want to be on that team, you need to make sure you match that personality of that team. Do you believe you're a talented, capable human being? So make sure you believe what you can do. You have faith. Look at the successes. Look at what you have done. Don't focus on the things that you haven't done. Look at the things that you've achieved, however small they may be. And that's key. Let go of the past baggage. Don't want to hear about all the negative stuff. Let's let it go. You can't change it. Can't change the past. Just move forward. Keep plugging away. Okay? Do set goals in writing. This is a good one. I like this one. Yeah, writing goals down helps you focus on it. I had one student once actually put them, just a few goals. Remember, we're constantly adding goals. There's always going to be goals in life. So it's not like there's 5 and then you bang them out and you're done. But they typed them out and put them out as a screensaver. So every day when he logged into his computer, he saw the goals and it kept them in mind. And then once it finally was done, it was great to finally get through them. And then what he did, he created some new goals. Again, do set long-term and short-term goals, right? So I suggest more of these, more short-term goals, because this will create motivation, and then a couple of long-term goals. And by long-term, I mean a month, 6 months, 8 months, a year at max, because there's way too many variables that could affect your long-term goals. And if you don't achieve them, which is very likely that you won't, you're not too heartbroken. Does that make sense? Okay. Do make your goals attainable. Okay, they have to be attainable. Don't, again, it gets ties in. Don't make unrealistic goals. Make them attainable, because you want to make sure that you can achieve them. Okay, this is a key one. Remember, we talked about goals, and we talked about measuring goals. So we talked about goals need to be two things. It needs to be quantifiable, which ties into the measurable, and it needs to be timely, right? So quantifiable has to have a number with it, okay, so that you can know whether you're successful or not. Because if not, how do you know if you've achieved? You want to be able to tick those boxes on that list when you make your goals. You want to be able to cross it out. Well, you can't cross it out if you don't have these two variables there. Okay, does that make sense? So keep that in mind. Even start by just creating one goal, even for a day, like today, one goal, and just see how that works. And then make it 2 goals, and then make it 3 goals, and so on and so on. And then once you become confident of creating goals and executing the goals, you'll be surprised at yourself a week later how much you've achieved just by writing down your goals and measuring them, because you've been successful. And the success creates motivation, and that's key. Last but not least, do set priorities, okay, and include trade-offs and flexibility when setting goals. So for example, don't put too much weight on it. If you don't achieve your goal within this week, it's okay. You're not, remember the dart. Remember the darts. You set the goal, this week I'm going to hit the bullseye. Well, you know what? You may not. But that's okay, because if you keep throwing them, you will. Okay, so be flexible. Don't get, and when we talked about the timely is just a way of being able to, a check-in point. It's not the end-all be-all. This can change. You can adjust the time frame because you have that ability. No one else but you. Okay, so these are some good little do's and don'ts. If you want, take a screenshot. These are always good things to have posted. But again, create your own goals. That's really what it comes down to, and then execute. Goals and execute and repeat. Goals, execute, repeat. Goals, execute, repeat. All right. So that's pretty much it, folks. I want to say it's been a pleasure chatting with you guys, even though it has only been one way, but I hope you guys are successful. So the last little bit I'm going to leave you with is just look at week 14's checklist. Make sure you've completed everything. Your last one is assignment number 10, video assignment, which is just basically, I want you guys just give me a little bit of feedback, things you would change, some honest feedback. You can't hurt my feelings. It's what makes me who I am today, and what I've done good and things that I've changed. So from your feedback allows us to continue on in the future. And then last but not least, the last major assignment is due. Make sure it is completed and you submit assignment number 2 on DC Connect. All right. That's all I had, folks. I like that little few Warner Brothers, Porky Pig. Have a safe rest of the year, and maybe I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.